Hey, what's going on, everyone? I am back once again for another Slim Sports interview. And as always, I am your host, Jay Slim. And joining me again on the podcast, back once again after having her on last year after her freshman season. She had her sophomore campaign this year and helped lead Rio Grande Valley to one of the best, if not the best, season in program history, doing what she does from the point guard position while scoring a whole lot of buckets along the way. Ladies and gentlemen, 5'9" guard from Rio Grande Valley, Gianna Angiolet. What's going on, G?
Not much. We're doing good over here. Just got back for some summer workouts. So pretty much back like we never left. Got a couple new girls. I'd say about half the team is new, but it's an exciting time because, like you said, we came off a really good season. So we're looking to do the same thing this year.
Hey, there you go. Excited to see what is in store for you guys this upcoming season. Obviously, carrying over some momentum from this past year where you guys were just so dominant. And I want fans, viewers that are just now getting to learn your name, see your face for the first time, to get to learn about what you've been able to do already in just 2 years with Rio Grande Valley in a quick segment that I like to call Resume Rundown, where I'm going to show off your resume right here. Obviously, 2 years with UTRGV. And this past year, you helped them to their best record in program history, also their first ever postseason tournament appearance as well. Ended up going to the WNIT where you guys got a first round win, advanced to the second round there. Also helped them to the Southland tournament semifinals, I believe it was, where you guys were just able to really compete at a high level this season. And you yourself, you're coming into your sophomore campaign after an end to your freshman year that obviously you weren't really expecting. You had an injury where you were sidelined to end your season. Talk to me real quick about entering into this year, coming off of that unfortunate end to your season, to where you were able to bounce back and become stronger, not only physically, but also mentally.
Yeah, I think being injured just made me have a whole new perspective. It just made me really appreciate the time that I got on the court and time that I got to practice because it was no fun having to sit out. So I was super excited to get back, very ready, very focused on just trying to stay healthy. Um, I mean, for the most part, I had a very healthy season. Like you said at the beginning, there was a bit of a hiccup with the ankle there, but it just really helped me focus on like what I needed to do to help the team win and just like taking care of business for myself so I can help with the team. And yeah, it really like made me look at things differently and just be a lot more like appreciative for like every single game. Um, and I think that kind of helped me just like with the mental side of things and just staying positive, staying consistent.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you just mentioned right there, you did miss a few games there at the start of this season. You were able to play a majority of the season this year, thankfully, obviously, a part of that dynamic run that you guys went on there towards
Mhm.
the end. But at the start of the year, you ended up missing, I believe it was 5 games following that season opener. But obviously, having gone through an injury the year prior, you're more mentally prepared to handle this situation, to know what it takes to get back onto the court. And obviously, you were able to get back fairly quickly, only missing just a couple of games. How would you say that last year really prepared you for that early spot, that quick injury, to where you were able to fight through and figure out, okay, I'm going to get back on the court and I'm going to be even better?
Yeah, I think it really helped me because my injury last year, I was very focused on kind of how can I get back as quick as possible. And it was just very unrealistic. And this year, I was focused on let's just take it one day at a time and really get strong and get back to being healthy. Because they were like, hey, you could be back in like a couple weeks, or you take the month and then like you'll be for sure healthy for the rest of the season. So, I took the month, fully recovered, and it was just more. I was just looking at like the long goal, like the end goal. Like I wanted to be around for the whole year, as opposed to risking further injuring it for however many more games. So I think that like switch in mindset of like take things one day at a time, and then get back to being healthy, so I could be at like 100% and just play a healthy year.
Hey, there you go. Obviously, you were able to do just that, and now
Mhm.
you put the injuries behind you, and we can talk about the role that you took on this season, being a second year player for this program, a second year starter as well, obviously playing a whole lot of minutes, having that big time role. You have Charlotte O'Keefe, who I've had on the past two seasons as well. She obviously is a big time star player, one of the best, if not the
Mhm.
best player in Rio Grande Valley history. And then obviously you guys add in Jalea Ingram from the JUCO ranks, where she went off this year as newcomer of the year in the Southland Conference. You yourself, you're able to be not only a dynamic scorer, but also be able to dish the ball out to your teammates as well. Really able to score at all three levels, able to score from three, drive the lane, and also hit that mid-range jumper efficiently. How would you describe your role this past season for a team that had so many dynamic scores? And how would you say that role was able to grow throughout the season?
Yeah, I think I definitely had like a different role this year, and that role was to be like a really good and confident shooter. And they needed that from me, and they made that super clear to me. And like you said, we had like Charlotte, we had Bunny, and like they took care of so much, and like I just trusted my teammates to get me the ball and to do their job when they had the ball in their hands. And also, just like a lot of support from my coaches and stuff coming back from my injury because it was a little difficult at first, like kind of accepting that it was a little slower of a start and the comeback would be, a little harder than just being able to get back to my full play 100%. So when I kind of accepted that role of like, let's just focus on hitting a shot, hitting a three, and then further into the season, I got a lot more back into my rhythm, started hitting jumpers, layups, transition. And of course, that three has always been like a big part of my game. So I would say just kind of accepting that role of like, let me be the confident shooter that we need. Let me hit threes when we need to hit threes and let my, very talented teammates take care of the rest.
Hey, there you go. Obviously, you guys did what you did as a team. You yourself averaged 7 points per game, two rebounds, an assist and a half throughout the season. You had some great performances overall throughout the year: 11 points, 10 rebounds against New Orleans, 17 points and two boards against Southeastern Louisiana. And then in the Southland quarterfinals against Northwestern State, 11 points, five rebounds, and a crucial win. And we'll touch on that game specifically here in a little while. But I want to show off some of these plays that you had this past season, some of these big time shots, big time moments in a segment that I like to call Make That Play, where I once again went through synergy, looked through every single made basket you had, and I put together what I feel like were your top three plays from this past season. But obviously, I'm just a stats guy. I'm just a fan of the stands. You're the one on the court doing what you do best. So, what would you say was your best play from this past season?
I would have to say that one that stands out to me the most was the buzzer beater against New Orleans. I think that was just such a big play because we were just battling out with them for so long, and to be able to hit that shot and give us a chance to win was pretty big time, and it ended up helping us later on because every conference game is so important when it comes to seeding in the tournament.
Was that the one that forced OT or was, yeah, well, funny enough, you mentioned that one right there. That is on my list. That one's actually at number three on my list, and I'll get into the top two here in a sec. But I mean, just such a smooth inbound play that you had where you ended up tossing it in. They passed it right back to you, and you just cashed in that three against New Orleans to force overtime. I mean, in the matter of a second and a half, you were able to do that entire play right there. It shows the efficiency and the trust that you guys have in each other to be able to be that quick. Number two was another shot clock beating inbound pass. All of these are inbound passes, by the way. You guys were very efficient on inbound plays.
Mm-hmm.
You had a turnaround jumper off an inbound against Northwestern State, where with the shot clock winding down with about 5 seconds left, teammate inbounds it to you. You have your back to the basket, and you just turn around, hit a big time pull up jumper with defender's hand right in your face as well. So able to get points on the board there. And then number one is an inbound alley oop that you had against McNeese, where you ended up setting a screen, rolled off, and teammate lobbed it up to you. You caught it mid-air and still got the shot off before your feet even hit the ground, and you were able to get some points on the board there. So obviously, very efficient shooter when it came to those type of plays. And this year's team, I mean, I mentioned obviously yourself coming back, Charlotte as well as a couple of other key players. You guys bring in Bunny, Jalea Ingram, who was able to do what they did. And you guys ranked top five in the Southland Conference in points per game, points allowed, field goal percentage, and obviously rebounds, having Charlotte O'Keefe down there, as well as a young, talented freshman who came in, Chasman, doing her thing. Talk to me real quick about what made this team so special and so efficient, not just in one area, but it seemed like in every area of the game of basketball.
Yeah, I would say like we did a really good job, and honestly, like credit to the coaches for setting goals early in the season. Like after every game, we would pull up kind of like where we were in the South, and when it came to, like you said, points per game, points allowed, rebounds, and we would set goals for that week to, get it higher, or get more rebounds or allow less points, and then we would just really like lock in and on our scouts. I think our coaches do a really great job putting together our scouts and allowing us to be extremely prepared for the game, and then they obviously trust us to execute that plan. Um, and I also think it's really important that we all had like trust in each other and a great relationship and chemistry on the court that allowed us to do that. And eventually we just like built that game after game after game. And I think we just became like super confident at a point. And and yeah, that just like solidified it for us.
Yeah, and I mean the season overall, absolutely incredible. 21 and 14 overall record, 16 and 6 in Southland Conference action. And what was crazy was you guys had a little bit of a rough start, obviously playing, however, Power Five opponents. Texas, I know, was on there, TCU, Houston, very tough competition, which obviously mid-major programs, that's what you're trying to do in non-conference in order to get better. And you could see the growth throughout the season, but that non-conference schedule, obviously you missed a few games. Charlotte O'Keefe missed a few games to injury. You guys weren't whole until it seemed like you guys went into Southland Conference, where you guys went on an absolute tear. 11 and 1 run there in Southland Conference action, where you guys just climbed up the standings every single game. Talk to me real quick about that switch that kind of flipped. I know having Charlotte and Jalea on already, they talked about how you guys changed the system a little bit to better fit the personnel. How would you say that that change helped you out and how it helped the team out overall to go on that amazing run?
Yeah, I would agree with that statement. I think, like you said, like we dealt with like a lot of injuries towards the beginning of the season. Like the lineups were different. There was a lot of inconsistency. And then like we were kind of in between two offenses, and then we decided to go with more of like a ball screen offense, which I think we just were a lot more efficient in. We made good decisions out of it, good passes. We have good set plays, runs for when we need paint touches from Charlotte. And I think like one of our plays really allowed us to get some backside action, help get like shooters open like me. And then Bunny's great off the screen. Charlotte's great anywhere in the paint on the perimeter for the pick and pop. So it just gave us some different looks and variety than we had kind of earlier in the season. And then once we stuck with that, and once we just had like an official, the official like starting five was back and healthy, we were just ready to roll.
Yeah, I mean, when you have such talented scorers, obviously I mentioned you being a three-level scorer. Charlotte herself was a three-level scorer. Bunny was able to hit the mid-range jumper while also driving the lane, super athletic scorer, and then obviously the rest of your roster as well. From the starters to the, players coming off the bench, 1 through 15, you guys were all just had such a high skill level. And that's why you guys were able to lead Rio Grande Valley to a first round bye in the Southland Conference tournament and ended up going on beating Northwestern State in the quarterfinals. I mentioned before, you had double figures in that game. And you guys already know that this is a historic season for the program with what you guys were able to do. You guys know going into the postseason, all right, this is where it matters most. This is where our season's on the line. We're trying to go off and make it to the highest level possible. Talk to me real quick about getting that win against the Demons and how you would describe your performance and your efficiency in that game to help lead to the win.
Yeah, I think that was like just one of those games where the coaches were telling us, and we all knew it was like win or go home. So it's like give it all you have. Just like very focused on in the moment and what I need to do and what my team needed from me. And so, yeah, I think I was pretty efficient from the three that game, and I was just really focused on like make open shots and like doing the little things that's super important, whether it's doing everything on defense for the scout correctly or just pulling down a couple rebounds. Um, I think that's like really what the main focus was for that game, and just as well as giving it all we had, because at the end of the day, the goal was to get one game closer to going to the tournament.
Yeah, and you guys actually got another postseason tournament nod at the end of the season. Unfortunately, you weren't able to make it to the NCAA tournament, but with the historic season that you guys had, you earned a spot in the WNIT, and you guys go in and you show why this season wasn't a fluke. You guys got another win to add on to an already historic season for the program, beating Austin P in the first round, 71 to 59. So a double figure win there, really showcasing what you guys could do. Talk to me real quick about what it means to you individually and the team as a whole to be able to make this kind of history, to get a postseason nod for your guys' program that you've worked so hard for, and also the execution going into getting that first round win over Austin P.
Yeah, it means a lot to the team. It means a lot to me. I feel like just being here for 2 years, we've made so much progress, and that like getting a bid to postseason just showed that. And I think it was like a big deal for us to, again, like you said, show up and show that like this season wasn't a fluke. And yeah, that game was actually pretty crazy because we like a lot of us actually came down with the flu, and we kind of went in and we were just really like, are we gonna be like healthy enough to play? And so our coach like was like, let's just fly you guys here, and like you'll just like rest for you know 2 days. We didn't really have like practice until the day before the game, and we really just focused on getting healthy. And then like that one shoot around, we're like, okay, like everyone is good enough to play. And again, just like the rest of the season, and we were just super locked down on the scout. And the coaches were like, "Win or go home." Like we came all the way here, and you guys didn't feel well. Let's not make it for nothing. And we really just went out like we had nothing to lose, and I think it showed. And we did really well, and it was exciting to win a game, and like individually, just a big deal to be a part of that, because that's always a goal of mine when I came here, when I came to the program, was just to really compete, improve, and play in big games.
Hey, there you go. Obviously able to help do what you did for this team. And as I've said, 1,000 times already, and it's a part of your career, a part of your resume now. Best season in program history until next year when you guys have even more wins probably and continue to do
Uh,
what you guys do. Obviously, always looking to get better. And you've gotten to play alongside some great talent. I mentioned some of the ones that I've already had on the podcast, and I want to give you a chance once again to shout out maybe some more of your teammates or other players that you know in general to have on the podcast to get them to talk about their careers, their stories, just as you're doing now in this segment called Who's Up Next. So, who would you say is next up on the Some Sports podcast?
um, yeah, I mean, Chaslyn's a great player. I think she was a huge part of our success this season. She's like a really great scorer, great rebounder, and yeah, just really big time for a freshman. I loved having her as a teammate, and she's returning this year, which I think will just be like incredible for us. So we're really, really happy to have her, and I'm really happy to be playing another year with her because I think she'll just take another step up and help this team even more.
Hey, absolutely. I mean, learning from another talented player like Charlotte, and I know when I had her on, she talked about how Chaslin, when going into next year, there's a good chance that she's coming for all those records that Charlotte already has. Being able to be that dominant presence in the post and also stretch the floor a little bit as well. Definitely can't wait to see what she ends up doing next year. And I'm definitely planning on getting her on this season, as you and I have already talked about. So that's a great name for who's up next. Now we've got to talk about what's next as far as going into next season to be the best version of yourself yet. You're looking to continue to improve, to grow your game this off season even further. How would you say you're looking to really continue to grow your game this off season to where next year you can go off and lead this team obviously to another dominant year?
Yeah, this off season is super important. I really want to work on just again continuing to be super consistent in my shot. I want to have like a very good 3-point percentage, and that just comes with game reps. We do a lot of shooting kind of off of screens, off the move, and we do a lot of like game speed drills in the gym, and then that just also takes individuals and getting on the shooting gun and feeling right with that. Also, like we've talked about, like I really like the mid range. I want to get to that a lot this year, even if that means just kind of coming off a screen and curling it and shooting the two. And then I've also just been trying to work on some finishes around the basket. I know I'm kind of like smaller compared to some girls you'll find in the paint. So I think just adding, a little bit more creativity down there, maybe get to the line a little bit more, um, and kind of getting, my fadeaway turnaround jumper to be good. So I'd say, those three things are something that I'm working on, and I think also the most important thing is just being super confident, and I definitely am just coming in, with 2 years and then great coaches, great team. So I'm excited for it, and yeah, I'm definitely ready to have a good year, stay healthy.
There you go. Definitely can't wait to see what you guys do next year. I already know I'm going to be tuned in to watch you guys go off, continue to make history with what you've already been able to do in your 2 years. Don't think I forgot about that win over Houston from your freshman year. You've been making history for this program since day one. Cannot wait to see what year three has in store for you. So thank you so much once again for hopping on the Some Sports Podcast for a fantastic interview.
Thank you so much for having me.